It all started with a dress. A simple, stunning, one-shoulder green gown that Meghan Markle slipped into for her new holiday episode of With Love. But the moment that episode dropped, fans realized they had seen that dress before. It was the same Galvan gown Meghan wore in her 2022 Variety photo shoot, and that tiny detail was all it took to drag an old accusation back into the spotlight and turn a quiet week into a social media firestorm. People online began resurfacing a 2024 podcast clip where a journalist claimed that Meghan had a habit of not returning designer clothes after shoots. The clip had barely caused a ripple back then, but now, with that green dress on full display, it suddenly went viral all over again. Within hours, comment sections filled with speculation, assumptions, and the usual noise that follows Meghan whenever she so much as breathes in the wrong direction. Some were asking questions, others were throwing around claims as if they were fact, and a few just wanted an excuse to criticize anything she does. But this time, Meghan's team didn't stay silent. They didn't ignore it. They didn't brush it off. Instead, her spokesperson stepped in and shut the whole thing down with one of the most forceful statements we've seen from them in years. They made it crystal clear that the insinuation Meghan kept items without permission was not only false, but highly defamatory. They emphasized that any clothing she kept, including that $1,695 Galvan gown, was approved with full transparency, with the full knowledge of on-set stylists, and completely in line with contractual agreements. In other words, nothing shady, nothing sneaky, nothing stolen. A professional process handled the professional way. But here's the interesting part. The stronger the denial, the louder the conversation got. And suddenly, everyone started asking why this rumor stuck in the first place. Because let's be honest, when it comes to Meghan, even the smallest narrative can blow up into a global debate. A dress, a necklace, a facial expression, anything can become evidence for whatever story people want to push. And that's what makes this situation different. Meghan has spent years dealing with narratives that snowball out of control, especially ones that revolve around her image, her choices, or her so-called diva behavior. Wardrobe rumors may seem trivial, but in the world of tabloids, they become tools, ways to paint someone as entitled, irresponsible, or disrespectful. And Meghan has been fighting those stereotypes since the day she joined the royal family. What many people don't realize is that Meghan has spoken openly about how important fashion became to her, especially during times when she felt muted or restricted. In an interview earlier this year, she talked about how she wasn't always able to speak publicly, but people were analyzing every outfit she wore. So she used clothes as her voice. She used colors, silhouettes, and brands as subtle cues to express what she couldn't say out loud. Fashion wasn't just clothing for her, it was communication. And when you understand that, you understand why accusations about stealing clothes hit differently. Meghan has also talked about being intentional with the designers she wears. Not just the big luxury labels everyone expects, but smaller brands with powerful missions, especially those founded by women. She has repeatedly said her favorite part of having a global spotlight is being able to uplift designers who deserve more attention. She's proud that a single earring, a single handbag, or a single dress she wears can completely change a small brand's life. So for someone who puts that much thought into what she wears and why she wears it, being accused of something as unprofessional as taking items without permission isn't just unfair. It cuts directly against everything she has tried to build. And besides, Meghan's relationship with fashion has never been shallow. She's used it to support friends, to elevate underrepresented voices, and to tell stories without saying a word. She said that when she knows a moment will be heavily photographed, she intentionally chooses designers she believes in, whether they're established favorites or new names who deserve a chance. And if a piece ends up staying in her wardrobe afterward, it's because the team agreed, because it was signed off, because it was part of the deal. Which brings us back to that green Galvan gown. Why wear it again? Why bring it back in a holiday episode 2 years later? Some fans think it's symbolic, a quiet way of reclaiming the narrative. A way of saying, yes, I wore it then, I'm wearing it now, and there's nothing shady about it. Others think she simply liked the dress. Maybe it made her feel confident, powerful, elegant. Maybe it reminded her of a happier moment. Or maybe she's just unbothered, like always, choosing not to let rumors dictate what she should or shouldn't wear. And honestly, that's what makes this whole moment so interesting. Meghan didn't respond with anger. She didn't post a rant. She didn't clap back indirectly. She let her rep issue a clean, factual, sharply worded statement, and then she kept moving, kept filming, kept showing up, kept living. Because at this point, she knows the world will always have something to say. What matters is how she chooses to answer. Calmly, strategically, in control. So now the question becomes, what does this controversy really reveal? Is it just another example of how Meghan is held to impossible standards? Or does it show how quickly a rumor, even a small one, can be twisted into a scandal when it involves someone the media is obsessed with? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the conversation says a lot more about the world watching Meghan than it does about Meghan herself.